Hi, I'm Cram, and today we're back with Cyberpunk 2077 in VR using the LukeRoss mod, which is available via his Patreon. So, there's been quite a few videos now on YouTube, and maybe I'm a bit late to the party with this, but as one of the original guys making this video on Cyberpunk 2077 in VR, using one of the earlier versions of LukeRoss's mod and an RTX 3090. Now that I've upgraded to an RTX 4090, I'm going to break it down to you, to give you the real deal, with no bullshit, no fucking hyperbole, no nonsense that you might be seeing from other people who are just not paying attention or offering misleading comments. So here we are in Darktown, the decrepit part of Night City, and I think this is a very good example of the state of this VR mod. That's right, girl, the state of this VR mod. So I'm using a Quest 3 and I'm streaming it through a wired PC connection and Airlink on my PC, which, as I've just said, is run by an RTX 4090. Just bear that in mind, the GPU that I'm using, RTX 4090 and an i5 13700K processor. Now, in my previous video that I did of this, I categorically stated that actually, regardless of the lack of motion controls, this is brilliant. Probably one of the best VR games you can play in terms of content, immersion, and the rest of it. And it's I stand by that still 100%, regardless of the game's faults. Now, let's talk about the game's faults, because it's nowhere near perfect, and the price of entry here is going to cost you an arm and a leg if you want to get the most. Now, what I found is, as soon as you start lowering the resolution to suit your hardware, because you're not going to be able to run it at maximum settings, there's a lot of tweaking involved to get it right to suit your system, and if you don't get it right, you're going to have a blurry, jittery, poor experience playing this. So you've got to spend that time fiddling with the options, unless your graphics card could just sort of boom it out regardless. So you're going to have to lower the game settings. You can't run this at maximum setting, all ray tracing enabled, path tracing, etc., with the higher resolution that you need for this to look decent in VR. As soon as you start lowering the the resolution in the game, it begins to lose its edge, it begins to lose its clarity, and it does become blurry. Now, if you start putting DLSS on, you're going to start seeing hazy ghosting everywhere, on every surface, on every angle, on every line. You can ignore that. It's quite easy to ignore it and just play, but it's also quite distracting as well, and it's nowhere near the clarity of maybe this video that you're going to watch afterwards, which has been recorded using the Quest headset. It doesn't give you an accurate depiction of what the game actually looks like in the headset. So do not be fooled by that. Please do not be fooled. I will say though, let's have a look at these steps, like as an example, or this homeless dude here. Right, fella. The detail on the character here is fantastic. You can't fault that. There's no ghosting here right now. That's right. So when you're close up to people, then definitely you see those details, and it's kind of like, yeah, the ghosting disappears. If you just stand there and look, yeah, they're pretty close actually to the actual in-game and to what you might be seeing on the video. However, you don't play the game just looking at NPCs like up close like this, looking at the fine texture details. Not really, I'm just explaining to the viewers at home, if you don't mind. My boundaries keeps coming in and out. So yeah, so my thing with this, and my beef with some of the people that have been commenting about their experiences with the game, is the distant detail. This has been a very important thing for me with VR since getting into VR, is that it's great having really nice details when you're close to objects, but unlike a desktop game, as soon as you start looking further afield, you're going to lose that detail and it all becomes a bit of a blurry mess. So what I'm seeing here now, for example, this is a really good example. Look to my right, those guys there are pretty much fantastic. You see all the detail in the textures. Same again on the left, but as soon as you reach, say, those plants in the planter in the middle there and beyond, the clarity's disappeared. And if I want to look even further into the distance, I can see there's people walking around, I can see there's vendors, I can see what's going on, but it's kind of like, it's completely blurry. There's no clarity there at all. Now, there might be some reshade options you can use to mitigate that. Again, that's more of the fiddling. But as you sort of move through this area now, you begin to sort of, oh, the multi-headed vendor. You begin to see, oh, nice positioning. Not sure what's going on here today. It looks a bit naughty. But anyway, yeah, you begin to sort of see as you move through it. So you're not really looking at the distance details. So imagine if you're a sniper character and you need to see those distance details. In VR, that's not going to be so helpful and so useful because of the fact that those distant details are just not there. And it may look on this video that you're watching that, oh, they look fine. But the video is not the same as the actual in-game view. Until CD Projekt Red release their own version or native VR version, then this is what you're going to get. And this is what you should expect. And as I said, there are ways to sharpen the image. There are ways to sort of mitigate it with a bit of fiddling with reshade options and some of the LukeRoss options as well. But the general consensus from me, from playing and the hundreds of hours I've spent in VR, etc., prior to this Quest 3 release and with the Quest 3, is that it's good. It looks good, but don't expect it to be as you're seeing in these videos that YouTubers and people are presenting. Because I'm kind of a bit disheartened from one of the guy, I'm not going to mention his name, who sort of claimed that this is a really nice way of looking at the world as if you owned a VR headset. And some people suggested that their games did actually look like the video in question. And I mean, you can fluff it up and say, yeah, actually, yeah, it does look like, yeah. But it doesn't. No, sorry, don't be fooled by that. You're not, unless I'm completely missing something. I mean, this guy here, as I said, the up close detail is perfect. You cannot fault that. But looking beyond, and obviously you are going to look beyond, because that's the whole point of being immersed in a VR world, is that you're looking at the distance details just to give you that sense of scale. It's not a claustrophobic thing where you're constantly in corridors like a Doom game. The whole point of Night City and open world is that it's a wide expanse. And so therefore, yes, you're going to need to crank up things way higher than the 4090 can perhaps even muster to start getting those distance details to be sharp and crisp and remain in focus, like you're seeing with the close-up detail. So that's the point of this video, just to reiterate that yes, LukeRoss mod Cyberpunk 2077 remains, in my opinion, one of the, if not the best VR game you can play, because of the amount of detail in it. It doesn't feel like a indie game with a Quest standalone graphics. This is like a full-on game with amazing visuals and so much detail here. Look at the amount of NPCs. Compare that to a game like Lo-Fi in development for the Quest, and with an empty world with nothing in it. But here you've got the full works, and this just gives it an amazing feel of being inside the world. So I can't fault that at all, and I'm not ever going to fault that, and I'm always going to stand by until someone comes along with something better. This is the game to play in VR. It's just simply fantastic, and you really are there in the face of the dirty people, and yeah, it's wonderful. But don't be under any illusions that it's the same as any desktop. I mean, I game in 4K on my desktop, and you can't beat that, especially with full path tracing, ray tracing going on. I mean, I have tried to play this in VR with the ray tracing on, and it is possible, but you have to lower the resolution down a touch for that to just even run. And is that trade-off worth having the smooth sort of operation that you get? So yeah, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my revisit here in a video form, and yeah, just a quick tour of Dogtown in the process, and I hope you can sort of get a feel for what I'm trying to say. So don't be put off too much by my negative comments about this. It's still absolutely mind-blowingly cool in VR, and as I said, one of the, if not the best game to play in VR. But temper those expectations when watching these videos. If you're sort of on the fence about getting a Quest or something to play this in VR, or your PC hardware isn't quite up to the RTX 4090 standards, then temper that expectation down. You're going to get a good experience, but it's not going to be as good as what you're perhaps seeing in videos, despite, or contrary to what some people might suggest that they've managed to get on their headsets. You know, remember, things are quite subjective as well. Also bear that in mind. I might be more critical than the next person, and vice versa. So yeah, anyway, this is Cyberpunk 2077 in VR in Dogtown, and yeah, pretty cool stuff, and I can't wait to sort of play it properly from the beginning and get back into this and enjoy it. But yeah, lovely. And obviously you can see here the time of days make quite a big difference as well to the distance details. Ain't that right, girls? Yeah, anyway. Okay then, alright, I'm going to leave it at that. So I'm Rob Cram, thanks for watching. This is the LukeRoss mod, which is now 10.5.5 or something like that, and grab it from the Patreon and dive into Cyberpunk 2077 and give it a whirl, see how you go. Obviously you can keep tweaking until you get it to your standard that you would like to make it sort of playable and looking good at the same time. Okay then, alright, so we're out of here. Laters.